As we bring in Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center at Akron Children's Hospital, with us this morning. And Joe, good morning, my friend. What do you have for us?
Hey, Ray. One of the big questions as we're getting through all the fall camps now, the late summer and fall camps, and getting into the games. But one of the questions in the last month that's just asked so much, and I wanted to just answer a couple questions about it, is those mushroom helmets or the padded helmets. We got a little bit more information about the use of those helmets. You see it whenever you see video from camps. You see it in the pros for the last several years, then in college, now even in high school. A lot of the scrimmages that we worked, we saw those padded helmets, and kind of wanted to know what the deal was with that. They're now mandated by the NFL. Everybody in the NFL has to wear those all preseason, and any regular season practices, they have to wear the padded mushroom helmets. And there used to be some talk about certain specific position groups that were more at risk that would wear them, but now everybody is mandated to wear those. They're kind of hanging their hat on one study that was done about 2 years ago by the maker of the padded helmet. The one that's used the most is called the Guardian helmet, and the NFL did a joint study. They said that it decreased impact velocities by 20% in the studies they had. They didn't say anything about decreasing injuries or anything, just decreased the impact. And so for practice, definitely they wanted people to be using these, and everybody mandated. Many in most colleges now. And this year it was really an eye-opener to me. You know, we work with a lot of high schools locally. I would say as many as 25 or 30% of high schools even were using the padded helmets now. So it was a little bit of an eye-opener for me, and people asking me, hey, you know, are those useful? Hey, what about using those in games? You know, I read a lot last night about it. There were a lot of comments by players. Some NFL players were saying that it slides around too much. They feel top-heavy when they're using it. Some of the coaches talked about concerns about, hey, the guys were more aggressive when they have it on. What happens when the helmet comes off, the mushroom cap comes off? Will we get into problems with that? And so there were questions on both sides. Some people said they felt better wearing it too, so it was on both sides. This year, in the statistics, we had about 2,000 high schools athletes that were wearing it in football, and about 200 college athletes. But I'll bet you the number this year was probably closer to 3,000. That number was probably going up. But the big and ultimate debate, Ray, is, hey, if it's working and you're using it in practice, why aren't we using it in games? Do we use it in games? That debate really never got started. The NFL and college is not even really entertaining that debate at all. They're not talking about it a lot. And some of the reasons are it doesn't solve the ultimate, one of the biggest concussion makers is that snapback, whiplash, rotation of the neck kind of thing. It doesn't do anything for that. Secondly, there's always been this thought of the friction of those types of helmets may lead to more neck injuries, and possibly we get back to some athletes being paralyzed again or other issues like that. So as of right now, there's no strong debate about it being used in live action or in actual games, but there's also no debate that's now mandated by the NFL for practice, and it's filtered down many of the high schools I saw out there in the month of July and August wearing the helmets. In the camps for recruiting and the draft camps, everybody wears them to try to protect guys from that standpoint. By the way, final point, the cost is about $75 if you bought one on your own. Teams were able to get them about $50 in bulk. One of our college trainers told me that teams could buy many of them at $50. So not an exorbitant price, but it would be a lot for some high schools to outfit 50 kids or 80 kids or however many football players they have. So that's kind of the latest on the mushroom helmet and what's gone on with that. Now we're taking those off and moving into the start of games. As you know, high school got started this week, college very soon to come, and the pros in a couple of weeks.
Joe, is it too early to look at what research or what study is saying to the effectiveness of these helmets? Have we seen the decrease in concussions?
Definitely the question that I was alluding to earlier is, yes, it might decrease the impact velocity, but could it cause other issues? And so, no, there's no studies out there and nothing that I could find that actually looked at reduction of concussions at all. And it's not even really being debated right now. Like I said, there's not anybody saying, hey, let's do this study right away and maybe next year we'd be using it, or 2 or 3 years down the road. I don't see it on the horizon to be used in live action, Ray, in the next year or couple of years.
All right, Joe, great information. We all see it. Now we know. Thanks, Joe. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, Ray, have a great week.